Yeah.
So it's like those little shifts. I teach something called transformational vocabulary. It's one of the simplest things in the world. I was in a meeting when I was probably younger than you. I was probably 32. Mm-hmm. And I was two other partners who were very wealthy, super successful, one worth $1 billion, another one very, very close to it, but very different personalities. And three of us were partners in a certain deal. And I won't bore you with the details, but I'll give you the core. The core was, we went in a negotiation, and I'm an open book, as you can probably tell. I don't claim to be right about everything, but I'm going to share what I believe, right? Certain areas I know, just like you know, right? Because of my life experience. But when negotiation, for me, I was like, F negotiation. Let's just put our cards on the table. I want to be able to do business with somebody who's honest. I want to tell you the whole thing. Let's do something fair, right? But you know, if you go to certain people, if they don't fight for it, they feel like they don't want to do business, right?
Yeah.
They want to feel like they beat you, right?
Yeah.
So I go on this negotiation, and without telling my partners, I opened the door and I told them the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I said, I think this is a deal that would work. I want a deal that's more than happy for you, because I'm the kind of guy that I'll do a deal, and then afterwards I give a person a little bit back, even if they agreed to it. That's how I got partners for 20 or 30 years, because I'm generous, right? So I'm trying to be generous, but if you're trying to be generous with a shark, he'll take your arm, right? So I'm this 32-year-old kid. I'm not realizing you're much more sophisticated at your age than I was at mine, and so I tell the guys all this stuff, thinking, okay, let's come together. It won't be perfect, but let's pull together. Long term, who cares? As long as we respect each other, love each other, we're going to crush this opportunity, right? And the other side, without giving me all the gory details, takes it, uses it, and tries to manipulate us with leverage to make a deal that was far worse than we should be in.
Yeah.
So I'm effing pissed.
Yeah.
I am angry as hell. I'm pissed off. I'm frustrated. One of my partners goes apeshit. He's like, I'm furious. He said, I'm enraged. I kill these MFers.
Yeah.
And he was so intense that even though I was pissed off, I was like, hey, it's not that bad, right? I'm trying to calm him down. While I'm trying to calm him down, I noticed my other partner, he's not even moved by this thing. Like, he doesn't seem even slightly upset, which almost upset me. Don't you get it?
Yeah.
He's too crazy in my mind. He's not feeling enough. So I said to him, like, aren't you upset? He goes, yeah, aren't you furious? I'm like, calm down.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, I'm a little annoyed. The first one he said, I'm a little annoyed. I said, annoyed? Like, the word annoyed me, right?
Yeah.
Don't you understand? That's what they did. He's like, don't you understand? I'm like, calming him down. In the middle of it all, I couldn't help. I'm a student of behavior, right? So I couldn't help but notice all three of us have had the same problem delivered to us, and all three of us have radically different emotional responses. Okay? Why? And I'm listening, and he's going, I'm enraged, I'm furious, I'll kill the MFers. And I'm thinking, I'm so pissed off, I'm pissed as hell, I'm angry. And then I'm hearing him say, I'm annoyed. And I said, annoyed? I mean, that's it? He goes, well, and then he said, I'm a little tinkled. I said, tinkled? What are you talking about, right? And he's going, so in the middle of all this, I thought for a moment, I couldn't help, but I said, you know what, I don't think I've ever seen you really angry. He said, I don't really get that angry. It's very rare. I said, well, what about, he had this deal with this IRS agent came to his house. He's a very wealthy guy, right? And the guy was, the IRS agent, my guess was, threatened by or upset by the level of wealth he had. And so he did some things that he eventually won. It took him 5 years to get his money back. He fought the IRS and won, which is pretty rare, right? But during those 5 years, it was brutal, anybody looking on the outside. It said, you're going to tell me you were annoyed with that? He goes, no, I was peeved. I'm peeved, right? And then I asked him something really interesting. I said, what do you believe about getting angry? And he goes, I believe if you get angry, the other guy wins.
You lose, 100%.
Right? And I'm like, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
And this other guy believes if you don't get angry, when I get angry, I get powerful. And I thought, when I get angry, I get sharp, right? But I also thought, when I'm really happy, I get sharp.
Yeah.
And it changed me. I started saying, okay, I call it transformational vocabulary because the words you attach to your experience, as I said, become your experience. My mother would call me one time, I'm old enough, you're probably not old enough, before we had cell phones, we had these little recorder calls, it was like on a reel-to-reel, and you called in and got your calls. Well, I went to England and Europe for about, 2 weeks, and I gave my staff the time off. They've been working their tail off. So my mom calls every day and leaves a message, doesn't get a call back. And when I called from England, the little beep thing wouldn't translate. So I didn't know it was on there. I didn't know it was upset. I come home, and there are 10 days worth of messages, and every single message she says, I am humiliated. This is humiliating. My son is not the president of the United States. It's the most humiliating experience of my life. And as I'm listening to this going, my mom is always humiliated.
Yeah.
Do you know why? If there's a funnel of experience and it's painful,
Yeah.
he's going annoyed Pete, I'm going pissed off, and he's going, I'm going to kill him, right? Yeah. My mom always uses the word for anything uncomfortable for humiliated, so she's always humiliated. So like, I'm never depressed. I was so depressed when I got chased out of my house and I had no money in the background. I lived in this place of depression, and I remember reading this book by Claudine Bristol. It's called The Magic of Believing. And I read the book, and it talked about how to condition your mind. And one of the things I did, I wrote on soap on the mirror, I wrote, only a loser is depressed, which isn't true. You can be a winner and be depressed and feel that way. But I knew I wasn't a loser. That was my leverage. Yeah. And I literally took the word depression out of my vocabulary. I've never used it again. I felt down. I felt pissed off. I felt frustrated. I felt sad. I felt overwhelmed in moments. But I've never felt depressed. Because when I was depressed, I got to the point where I was questioning whether it's worth it all. You know what I mean? And so your words shape your psychology. And so a few word changes, as stupid as that sounds, as overly simplistic as that sounds, or people give metaphors. They'll say, "Oh man, I'm like, I'm at the end of my rope," and I'll go, "Well, set it down and come over here." What are you talking about? We hypnotize ourselves, Or somebody will say, "Well, that person stabbed me in the back," and I'll walk up to them and I'll lean them behind their back. I said, "I don't see anything." And you know what I mean? No, I don't. Yeah. Well, they betrayed me. Well, what did they do? And you dig in, they go, they told someone else something they said they wouldn't tell them. Right. But the words escalated the emotion. And once they're there as a metaphor or as words, they control us. I invite every business person to notice this. I remember, I decided to get a divorce when I was 39 years old. And I didn't want to have a divorce. I had 4 fathers. I was going to stay no matter what. Duty, all those things. That was the things that were going for me, right? And then I remember going to my friend Peter Goober, and I was like, I don't know. I can't imagine doing this. And then I'm going to give her more than half, and then